What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best, and in today's video talking to you guys about episode 2 of Dragon Ball Daima, giving my reaction and my review. First things first, what I'm realizing about Daima is that we're getting a lot of lore and world building in this series. And that's something that I feel like Dragon Ball has always done a really good job of, but it's never been, I feel, the biggest aspect of it. Obviously, the action and the fighting typically is, because Dragon Ball is a series that started off all about martial arts. Obviously, it's well beyond just martial arts at this point, but it is still a core element to what Dragon Ball is as a series and as a franchise. But so far through these first 2 episodes, we're learning a lot more about characters and their origins than we have in recent times. We're learning that characters are demons that we didn't know were demons, and a lot more about the demon realm, and who knows what else we're gonna find out. But anyway, this episode kicks off with the wish that was made at the end of the last episode, where the Z Warriors and some of their friends, a la Hercule and Popo and Dende, have been turned into kids. What I will say though is that I'm pretty sure in the last episode he said he wanted them to be turned into like first graders or something like that, and so everyone's supposed to have been like regressed in their age. But the only ones who look like they regressed in age are Goten and Trunks, who've been turned into literally babies, which is what he added to the wish. I hope that they get turned into babies, or I wish that they get turned into babies. Everybody else doesn't really look like younger or look like children. They just look like they got smaller. Like Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, Chi-Chi. Like, we know what these characters look like when they were young. Like, obviously when we first meet Bulma, she's already a teenager. She's like 16, but we know what Vegeta should look like as a kid. We know what Goku looks like as a kid. We know what a lot of these characters look like when they were younger, and they just look like chibi versions of their adult selves instead of actually looking like kids. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just like a minor nitpick, I guess. It's not like I even really have an issue with it. It's just more of an observation than anything. But it is kind of funny because they just look all small and chibi, but they look cool. They look cool, man. And I had the prediction that after making this wish, Goku was going to be limited in what forms he could use and how much power he had, because he's not going to be used to his new body, and his ki and his strength, everything is like limited. And that's pretty much going to be the case, because we start out, he can't even fly properly. He's like, oh, I'm not used to the balance of my new body. And the same thing goes for everyone else, presumably, because even Piccolo is like, you should get used to your new balance. And Goku's like, well, can you do it? And Piccolo flies face first into a tree on Kami's lookout and gets a nosebleed. So, you know, that was kind of funny. Also, real quick, the ending song that played at the end of the last episode actually was the opening. A lot of anime tend to do that thing where they play the ending song they play the opening at the end of the first episode, and the first episode usually does not have an opening. I wasn't sure if this was the case with this series, because the opening is like, it's pretty chill, it's pretty laid back. I like it. It just didn't really have like that oomph that I feel like openings usually have, especially for like shonen battle action series, especially one like Dragon Ball. It was cool. I like it. And then the ending theme that played at the end of the episode was also pretty cool. I was rocking with it, you know what I'm saying, getting my little groove on, you feel me? But yeah, you know what the cast actually look like? They look like the lobby avatars from Dragon Ball Fighters. I swear it's almost 1-to-1. Like, Daima Goku looks like a Dragon Ball Fighter lobby avatar. Also, Roshi, I guess, is one of the ones who actually looks younger, because you see a difference in like his face, and he doesn't have the facial hair and everything. And he just looks like Krillin. He looks like Krillin with some sunglasses on. He looks like Krillin cosplaying Master Roshi is what he looks like now. So that's pretty funny. But anyway, the meat and potatoes of this episode, it was a bit on the slower side, I would say. Well, I don't know if that's accurate to say. I want to say it was on the slow side because nothing like really happened, but simultaneously the episode felt like it went by super quick. I've been doing watch parties for these every week. It's only been 2 weeks, but I'll be continuing to do this on my Twitch channel, by the way, at twitch.tv/LotusAsakura. Links always in the description down below if you want to come out, hang out, and watch the episode with us. But yeah, the episode felt like it went by very, very fast. This week, it was actually the standard like 23 minutes, 50 seconds. So like the 24-minute runtime that you typically expect from a weekly episode, compared to the 32 minutes or so that we got in the first episode. So like I said, it was to be expected. No complaints there. But it felt like it was over in 5. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've been doing these watch parties, and I said it out loud. Even people in the chat were like, damn, bro, that went by so quick. You know what I mean? Like, I blinked and it was over. But I enjoyed it. We didn't really get like any crazy action or anything like that. We got some small glimpses, because like Goku was like training a little bit on the lookout, trying to get used to his new body. Something that's probably going to be foreshadowing for later is that obviously he doesn't really have balance like he did before. He was very clearly weaker than he normally would be. And while he was doing some kicks on the lookout, which, by the way, why did he kick that pillar and break that? I just don't. Goku ain't got no type of respect for anybody else's home or property, I guess. But he basically was having like issue, I guess, with his depth perception, or his ability to like, I guess his depth perception. Like, he couldn't tell like how far away or like how to properly place his kick. And Vegeta just seems very like lackadaisical about all of this and kind of nonchalant, and hasn't really like acknowledged much of like his lack of balance or power or anything. He's just like, who dare turn me into a brat? You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens when he gets into any of the action, if he gets into any of the action, because here's the timeline of events, right, in this episode. It starts off after the wish. Shenron tells him, yeah, we normally grant 3 wishes, but that's really for my regulars. Newbies like you get 1, and then he dips off, okay? Gon was like, damn, if I knew that, I would have wished for the 3rd eye, you know what I'm saying? Word to Hiei. But that didn't really work out the way he had hoped. Then he's like, hey, Neva, can you do that thing again? He's like, nah, even I can't do that back to back, which is good. I guess he can't just spam that, because theoretically, before, you would think he could just have infinite wishes and just do that over and over and over again. I wonder what the recharge time on that is, but who knows? And then obviously, like, the Z-Wards are like, well, let's go figure out what happened. They go to Kami's lookout, and Popo's there, and he has horns. Did we know Popo had horns? Because I feel like it's the first time. I don't know if we've ever seen him without his head wrap. Popo has horns. Threw me off, you know what I'm saying? He also has pointy ears, so I guess it's another sign that he's from the demon realm. So I guess just any character throughout the history of Dragon Ball that had pointy ears, like a Supreme Kai or Deborah or the Namekians, they're all demons. Even Piccolo acknowledges Neva, knowing who he was, says he's a legendary Namek who still resides in the demon realm and protects like the demon realm Dragon Balls. And apparently Nameks really are from the demon realm, and so are the Supreme Kais or the Kaioshin, or however you want to refer to them. And Piccolo says that the Nameks used to reside there, but they kind of escaped from the demon realm and went to Namek because they don't like being ruled over. So again, like, we're getting lore that like it just never existed before, and it's pretty cool because if you remember, this is the last project that Toriyama worked on. Like, this was his passion project before he passed away. So this is all stuff and ideas that he wrote and came up with and wanted to add to the world and lore of Dragon Ball. So it just makes me that much more appreciative of this series so far and moving forward. And just knowing that this is straight from his brain, I don't know, it just kind of it adds something to it for me, I guess. And also just knowing that this was the last thing that he had his hands on and the last thing that he drew or wrote. But yeah, we find out that Supreme Kai actually came to this universe on a ship, or I guess they really call it a plane where he's from, because Glorio shows up later and it's called a plane, I guess, whatever. But he shows up in a ship, similar to how like Piccolo did, or like how the Saiyans did. And it looks like it kind of looks like a mixture between like Trunks' ship and then like Demon King Piccolo's ship. And of course, it's like, it's all old and beat up and it needs repairs. And Bulma's like, yeah, I think I could fix this in about 10 days. And so she gets to work on that. Also, quick aside, kind of funny, she ordered food while she was working, and then she pops out. She's like, hey, Kibito Kai, like, I ordered some food. Can you go pick that up real quick? You know, just teleport. And so I guess Kibito Kai has been reduced to DoorDash. So that's funny. Meanwhile, Goku's looking for his power pole, which I thought was really cool. You know what I'm saying? Well, we knew Hugo had a power pole, but okay, you got it. The nostalgia bait, it's working on me. Okay, I see Goku with the power pole. I start getting all nostalgic and sentimental, start getting that warm, fuzzy feeling in my chest. You feel me? Okay, you got it. It worked. By the way, you want to know where the power pole was? So if you watched OG Dragon Ball, which I know a lot of people did, but if you did, you know that he stuck the power pole on the top of Korn's lookout, and that's how you get up to Kami's lookout, okay? Power pole extend, and you climb all the way up there. It wasn't on Korn's lookout. Master Roshi had it. You want to know what Roshi was doing with the power pole? He was using it to hang dry his laundry. Dragon Ball is so unserious. Anyway, Goku gets his power pole, goes back to the lookout, and starts flexing his skills, you know, spinning, whirling and twirling, and then extends the power pole like right in front of Piccolo's face and stops it like an inch in front of his nose. And I was like, you know, for somebody who felt like they had no depth perception and no control of the bounce of their body, you was kind of moving the way you was moving when you was moving with the way you was moving when you was moving. You feel me? But it was pretty cool. Like, if he's actually gonna use the power pole to fight and stuff in this series, I'm gonna be enjoying that quite a lot, especially until he learns how to like really control his ki and his power again. We've already seen from like previews, trailers, whatever, opening, ending, he's clearly gonna go Super Saiyan at some point. How many episodes deep are we gonna be before he remembers how to transform? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to just the base form action, to be honest. But that's just me personally. It's gonna be a little bit more hand-to-hand combat, a little bit more, you know, with the staff. We haven't seen that in a minute, and I'm just looking forward to it because I've just always thought that was really cool. Anyway, after we get the lore about Supreme Kai and the Nameks being from Demon Realm, Glorio finally pops up. And it's funny because this episode is named Glorio, but Glorio himself actually didn't even show up until maybe like 18, 19 minutes into the episode. And he shows up saying that he found out about Goku and everybody else from like a different king that's not King Goma. He's requesting the help of Goku and his friends to take down King Goma, and he is more related to, or not serves under, but is from like a king of the third demon realm. So I didn't quite understand that, to be honest. There's multiple demon realms and multiple kings. I don't know who is this king. I don't know. My first thought was like, is it Arinsu? Is she like the king or the ruler of like another demon realm, like another demon world? Like, I don't know. It could be a completely different character. Maybe he's actually the king and he's trying to rule over the entire realm. I don't know. Glorio's kind of mysterious. We don't really know a whole lot about him. He's trying to overthrow or like take down King Goma. And is that because somebody else is trying to rule? Like that's Tetsuya? Is it secretly him and he's trying to be the king of the entirety of the demon realm? Like combine it all? Does he have some sort of ulterior motive? Like who really knows? I want to see. Arenta didn't show up in this episode at all, and we already know she up to something. Like we don't know what, but we know she up to something. So I know she gonna have a role that comes in here at some point, some form or fashion, somewhere in the next few episodes. I hope we get to learn a little bit more about that, or at least see her reappear for that and other reasons. But regardless, once he pops up, Bulma's like, "Hey, can I take a look at your ship?" And he's like, "Oh, you mean my plane?" Which he was adamant about establishing the difference between it being a ship and a plane. She's like, whatever. She takes a look. She's like, okay, I can use this for reference and repair this other plane, I guess, faster than originally anticipated. So it might take her another day or two to do that. And that was pretty much the episode, to be honest. It ends off with Glorio, Glorio, Goku, and Supreme Kai going to the demon realm. And Vegeta wanted to go along, but he's like, sorry, it only fits 3 people. And Vegeta's like, dog, like we shrunk down to the size of kids. Like we could fit one more. And Supreme Kai's like, sorry, Vegeta. And so they leave without him. But I like, you really could have fit Vegeta in that plane. Like y'all small enough to where y'all had room. But plot, I assume this is for plot reasons. It is what it is. Maybe they're gonna get into some sort of hijinks or shenanigans or some sort of fight, and like, damn, sure would be nice if Vegeta was here. Then Vegeta obviously won't be there, but he's gonna show up at some point later after Bulma fixes repairing the the ship that Supreme Kai originally arrived in. I'm sorry, the plane that Supreme Kai originally arrived in. So not a super eventful episode. I thought this one would be a little bit more eventful than episode 1 was. It really wasn't, but at least it wasn't like half recap, or I guess like a third recap like the other one was. We did get a couple like little flashback screenshots, whatever, to like Goku's fight with Kid Buu, but nothing too crazy. It was just a few seconds. It looked good, don't get me wrong, but it was just a few seconds of like some little like images. And I'm hoping, like, again, I'm not really a meathead, but when it comes to Dragon Ball, like I'd be looking forward to the fight. So I want to see Goku throw some hands, get into some action, twirl and twirl the power pole, swing, slash, you feel me? I'm looking forward to that. That's just me. I don't know about y'all, but once we see that first fight, I'm really gonna be locked in. I mean, I'm already locked in, but I'm also not in a rush. I'm just excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just like, come on, get to the fighting already, but I'm just excited because, you know, it's the nostalgia bait of turning Goku into a kid. It works on me, man. It takes me back to that time of original Dragon Ball, which is my favorite part of the series. Goku being a kid, like practicing his martial arts, entering these tournaments, and it was just, you know, it makes me feel young again. Episode was cool. It wasn't nothing too crazy. I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to next week's episode, which is just titled simply Daima, which I can only interpret means demon at this point, or maybe demon realm, which is interesting because that then means that the title of this series is Dragon Ball Demon or Dragon Ball Demon Realm. But it is what it is. That's pretty much it for this episode. I don't really have too much more to say or comment on. So if you do, let me know down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all lots of content that I'm bringing you. With all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. Remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.